It's Sunday morning and it's time to continue our journey across northern Italy. Welcome to Travelcaster. Our journey so far has taken us to the city of Verona, full of history and culture. We also took a day trip to Trento, but today we're heading a little bit further west to Lake Garda. So join us for the journey.
This is Travelcaster.
This is Travelcaster.
This is Travelcaster.
This is Travelcaster.
The travel pod that takes you there.
Well, it's been a lovely few days in Verona, albeit exceptionally hot this July as we're recording the podcast. But today we are heading out to Lake Garda. Now, there are a number of destinations that you can choose from here in Verona. You can get buses that serve almost all the destinations in the Garda region. I'm taking a local train, though, to Desenzano. The journey is only going to take me about 30 minutes. Now, there are a couple of choices, as so often here for the trains. You can either take the really fast train, which costs about €15, or you can take the local train, which only takes half an hour and is less than €5. That's the one I'm taking. And here we are just 25 minutes later at Desenzano station. Now, I've chosen a hotel that's about halfway between the station and the lakefront. It's only a distance of about 1 kilometre in all, and thankfully the hotel's all downhill, although of course on the way back it's going to be all uphill. Never mind. Now, navigating around Desenzano is really easy. All you do is follow the main streets from the railway station and start heading downhill. The road will get slightly narrower and steeper, and then you will end up here in Giuseppe Malvezzi Piazza. And on this Sunday evening, it is full of life. People dining outside, having a spritz, having a little walk. And in the centre of the piazza is an inner harbour, beautiful little tranquil area for some of the smaller boats. And then just make your way past the harbour and you will come here to the lakefront. Absolutely stunning. Now, Garda is the largest lake in Italy, stretches over 70 kilometres from north to south and nearly 17 kilometres across at its widest point. And despite it being an inland lake, this really is maritime Italy. Boats and water sports are all around. From here in the main harbour, I can see some of the privately owned boats, some of the ones you can hire for a day, and just over there, the huge outline of one of the famous steamers that go up and down the lake, which we're going to be exploring tomorrow morning. But right here on the waterfront on Sunday evening, the sun is shining, it's still quite hot, and the views are beautifully tranquil. I'll tell you something for nothing. This place is magical at sunset. I've just been sat outside the circus bar overlooking the lake with a nice cool drink, with a musical performance going on in the background. And as I just walk along the front now, back towards the inner harbour, the street lights are glistening over the water just as the sun goes down. And with Matey Boy playing over there, it's just beautiful.
You're listening to Travelcaster. To see where we've been in this episode, just head to travelcaster.blog, where you'll find all the information you need on how to get here and what to do when you arrive. And to get inspiration for your next trip, remember to subscribe to the pod.
This is Travelcaster, the travel pod that takes you there.
Now, there are lots of ways of getting out on the water, but I've seen an interesting sign here that says, "Come and try a boat without a boating license. It's easy to drive and you can see the most beautiful places of the lake." Yeah, you're entrusted to take one of these boats out for about 200 to 300 euro a day, depending on whether you want it to come with petrol or without. I'd imagine with petrol being the more obvious option here. But you're not going to get me out on a boat without a license. I want someone who knows what they're doing, who can drive it. Drive it? Pilot it? What's the name? Captain. Captain, that's the name. I need to find a captain. On a hot Monday like today, there is nothing better than to get out onto the water here at Lake Garda. And that's what we've done on one of the many boat services that run across the lake. We left Desenzano at 10:15 this morning, and it's going to take us about an hour and a quarter to get across the lake to our next destination. Now, these boats run all the year round, several times a day, and it's dead easy to get on board. All you got to do is look for the ticket office, which is on the quayside, and you can buy your tickets on the day. You can book in advance, but there's not much point in doing it. Booking does not guarantee you a seat. And the prices, well, they're going to vary depending on how far you're going to travel. The lake is divided into different zones, and at the ticket office you'll be told exactly what you need to pay. There is a handy timetable that's online. Just search for Lake Garda boats and you'll find it. Just one company running all of the services here, so they're relatively easy to find. And we have arrived at our first destination of Bardolino on the opposite side of the lake from Desenzano. The noise you can hear behind me is the anchor being pulled up into the boat, the Andromeda, as it sets sail for its next location. Steamers and ships have been going up and down Lake Garda for well over 100 years. I was looking at the date on the boat, the Andromeda that brought us here, 2001 it was built. So they do update the fleet quite often. And it's a really efficient system. It runs to time because, well, there's no other traffic to get in the way other than smaller boats on the lake. As I say, here we are at Bardolino. It's got a lovely vista about it, a small harbour, plenty of bars and restaurants, and what looks to be a sort of former castle or fortification on the quayside. This is beautiful. Now, as we mentioned a little earlier, this entire area was built on tourism, and if you fancy a bit of retail, then Garda town is the place to do it. There's a market every week on a Friday, but throughout the streets, the narrow streets around the harbour area, you will find loads and loads of gift shops. Leather is a big thing in these parts, as is local produce like olive oil and wine. So if you want to go on a bit of a shopping spree, Garda town is the place to do it. Thankfully, there are places to escape all of that tourist tat, and it really comes from walking along the lake shore in either direction from the harbour. And yeah, there's the main lake road that gets fairly busy at times behind me, and yes, not too far away is yet another restaurant, but right here are a few benches where it costs you nothing to just sit and drink in the view. A little bit further along there's a beach area as well with I can see parasols in the distance. Not sure though, a lot of Italian beaches do charge you to go on and use them for the day. I don't know if that's the case here or not. But a little bit further I can see people swimming in the open water as well on this hot day as the lake traffic speeds by in the shape of speedboats, dinghies and the big ferries. You're listening to Travelcaster today, coming to you from the shores of Lake Garda in northern Italy. To find out how to get here and what to do when you arrive, head to travelcaster.blog. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast wherever you're listening. At Travelcaster, we pay our way, which means when we make a recommendation, it's a rarity and you know it's a place you've got to visit. And here in Desenzano, I would recommend the Gatto Lardo restaurant. It is tucked away on a side street, which you may well miss. And it fills up really quickly with some pretty outside tables in a little alleyway, so get here early. And even if you do have to wait, hang around and come back when there's a table available, because you won't regret it. I've had one of the best steak tagliatas in Italy I've ever tasted, and that's a pretty tall order in this country.
This is Travelcaster.
This is Travelcaster.
This is Travelcaster.
This is Travelcaster.
Now, it's our final day in Italy, and there is a chance just to explore a little bit more of the Garda region. My plan today is go to Peschiera. Now, you can get there by the boat, as we did yesterday, but there's also an option to take the train. However, due to a scheduling misfortune, I missed the train, and the next one's not for an hour and a half, which is annoying because it only takes 10 minutes to get there. So instead, I've opted for the bus, which is going to take the Lakeshore route, and it's going to take about 45 minutes. Only costs $2.20 for a ticket. Well, getting to Peschiera wasn't as easy as I thought. The buses are meant to run every half an hour, but I sat at that bus stop for about 45 minutes before anything came. And then when I've arrived here, I got off, I think, 2 bus stops too soon before the town centre. But that was a good thing because it allowed me to take a little back road into the town, which has taken me to this wonderful canal, which is a kind of moat and has fortifications around the town itself. And there's a monument here to a collapse that happened here of this important bridge in 1935. It was eventually reconstructed. There's also a little sort of gun tank here as well as a reminder of wartime. So some interesting things even before we get into Peschiera. Let's see what the rest of the place has to offer. Oh wow, and on the other side of the walls you just go through this little tunnel and you come to this lovely semi-pedestrianised area. I say semi-pedestrianised because there is a little traffic, and a little bit like the other towns around Garda, you are straight onto the main tourist street, Via Roma in this case. Lots of souvenir shops, lots of restaurants, but you know, they don't feel quite as intrusive as they did at some of the smaller places that we visited yesterday. There's a bit more of a laid-back feel to it all. And because of those walls and fortifications, you get a sense of history as well. It feels like that you're somewhere with a lot of stories to tell. And it's rather charming. It's just a 5-minute walk down Via Roma before you come to the main port, and you can see the boats coming in from the rest of Garda, the ones that we were on yesterday. But over here, an interesting addition by way of the Mincio. It's a river originally to regulate the flow of the water from Lake Garda to the outlying areas, and a series of sluices and defences were put up to make sure that the inland areas didn't flood. But also the Mincio became a really important strategic defence for this part of the world, because together with the brick fortresses and the walls that we walked through before we came into the town here, it made sure that this area was well defended from outside influences. And so although this place didn't see a lot of military action during the First and Second World War, it did become a centre for military strategic planning. If you want to get a true idea of the geography of Peschiera and the port here, just head up to the public park that's across the road from the Mincio Bridge, and you get this sort of bird's eye view of the port across from you. It's absolutely stunning, and there's one of the regular Garda passenger boats that's just set off. I saw one of the fast hydrofoils coming in a few moments ago. But of more interest to me is this magnificent craft before me, the Zana Deli, which is a paddle steamer. I can see the wheel on the side of the boat and the huge steam chimney at the front there. At the moment it does look as if it's being prepared for some sort of trip, maybe later in the week, a couple of crew members on board, and down below all the ticket offices and everything else, but that would be quite a craft to go on, powered the old-fashioned way as the fast hydrofoil heads out onto the water to the right. Really busy port there, really interesting if you like your boats. I mean, if you don't like your boats, this probably isn't the place to come, right? At the start of this season, I argued that almost anywhere you go in Italy will bring you beauty. And I'm going to stick to that argument. I'm going to stick to that point as we end this particular episode and this season. Lake Garda and Verona before that have both been absolutely magnificent. Yes, the sunshine has helped. In some cases, the heat has not. But the sights have been absolutely beautiful, as have the people and the service here. That's going to wrap it up from this season of Travelcaster. Don't forget, for more ideas of what to do, of how to get here, and what to do when you arrive, head to travelcaster.blog. Subscribe to the podcast and join us again soon for another edition of Travelcaster, the travel pod that takes you there.